My name is Maya and welcome to the episode 50 of my knitting podcast, where I share all my thoughts, process and other random stuff about all things fiber related, but mostly knitting. One of you told me that her new favorite sport is to say the intro at the same time as me, and now I cannot not think about it. It's just so cute. Anyway, I'm coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland, where I live with my gecko, and I think I forgot something. Oh no, I messed up. We are the 21st of April 2025. I think that's it. Yeah, sorry about this one. It was a little bit of a mess. Anyway, you get the idea. I have 3 finished objects for today. I went a little bit overboard, and I think one of them you have never seen because I have cast on and finished in 5 days. So that's coming, and I have 2 whips and the 2 of them are new. And I have 1 acquisition. It was a gift, I didn't buy it, but it's cute. So thanks, Mom. And I have, finally, I will talk to you about the climbing comp, how it went, how the finals went, and how I ended up on the podium, because some of you were sad that I skipped that last time. So this time we should have the time for that. So that's coming at the end. And that's it for today. So without further ado, the first thing we're going to talk about is what I'm wearing, which is my finished Olympic camisole, camis, and it's a camisole with the spaghetti straps and triangular cups, and it has, I'm gonna take this off, and yes, I'm wearing sweatpants, I'm sorry. It has an A-line shaping in the body, so increases along the underarms and on the front and back, so that you have this nice flowy effect that I really like. And it doesn't have any cups, oh my god, any cups on the back, because it has the crossing straps. And this one is a little bit too big, so it's doing weird stuff, but I'm gonna talk about that later. I have no idea if you saw that, so if you didn't, I will insert some pictures. Let me put this on again so that I don't risk flashing you, because as I mentioned, it's a little bit too big, so I really do have some risk of showing stuff that's not suitable for YouTube. So let me just put this on. This is a shirt, yes, silk shirt that I thrifted years ago, and it's Chinese silk. I don't know if you will see, but it has some motifs. It's gorgeous. And also I should iron it, but I couldn't be bothered. So yeah, and it's also massively too big for me, like really, but it's gorgeous. And it's silk, and it was very cheap, so yeah, I love to wear this one in the summer. Today is a very gloomy day and it's actually quite cold, so I feel a little bit weird with my cute summery outfit, but we are rolling with it today. Okay, so that's what I'm wearing. Now, about this design, it's mine. The test will start in a few hours. I will send out the pattern, the first version of the pattern, to the testers right when I finish filming this. So the test is underway, I guess, for you. And as I said, it's the Olympic camisole, but it's also the Olympic dress. So you have a full-length version with a waistband detail. And you also have 2 versions for the straps. This one is the crossing one, and I also have single spaghetti straps, which also has the triangular cups on the back. And there is a fingering weight and a DK weight version. So yeah, it's a massive test. There are a lot of people, but I hope we'll get lots of very interesting combinations between the gauges, the dress, the straps, colors, fiber types, and all of that. So I'm super excited to see what the testers come up with. And that's all for the test. Now for my own version, this one is I don't know how many times I've knit this design actually. It took me a few tries to get it right. But yeah, this one is knit using handspun yarn, but it's not mine. I bought this at the Swiss Yarn Festival. It's from a company named Textile Manufacture Tanz. It's in German. And it's a viscose and silk blend, I think. It's gorgeous. It's very, very flowy, as you saw earlier. It's actually kind of similar to this. So this is silk, and as you can see, it's very, very drapey, and this is actually kind of the same. And it's incredible because you don't usually get something this drapey in yarn, so I'm really happy about this, and it feels so soft. Like, the feeling against my skin is incredible, and I was a little bit worried that the fuzz, it's slightly bit fuzzy, I don't know if you can see that. But when the fabric is like this, when you sweat in it, the fuzz kind of sticks to your skin, and that's not very nice, especially in the dead of summer. But we are not in the dead of summer yet, so I don't know how this will feel when I'm hot. So we'll see later in the year. But yeah, the fabric is absolutely gorgeous. And this one is off gauge. The DK gauge is 20 stitches in the patterns, I mean, and the fingering weight is 28 stitches. The fingering weight, it looks like a very small gauge, but that's because when you block it and wear it, it really elongates a lot because of the weight of the garment. It is designed for summer, so with summer blends that tend to stretch out a lot. And then the raw gauge elongates. No, yes, elongates. So the stitch gauge shrinks and the raw gauge elongates. So when you knit, you're at the usual 24 stitches for fingering weight, 24, 26, but when you block it and wear it, it stretches out to 28 stitches. So it doesn't take too long to knit. It's not because the gauge is small that it's long to knit, because the raw gauge is like 32 rows, so 28 stitches by 32 rows. So yeah, as you can see, the proportions are a bit off. So don't get scared because of the small stitch gauge. Anyway, this one is kind of in between. I haven't even measured it again, but I think it's like 24 or 25 stitches, something like that. And there is guidance in the pattern on how to select the size if your swatch tells you a gauge that's not the DK or the fingering. So I just wanted to try once with this one, and it would have worked if I had swatched before and I had washed my swatch with water. Actual wet block, which I didn't, of course, because I think I know better and I like to live dangerously. And really, I don't exactly care about the fit of this type of thing because I can always put elastics down here to shrink it a bit. But yeah, things didn't exactly go to plan. So let me explain what happened. As I mentioned, when you have something in a heavy yarn like this, the stitch gauge shrinks and the row gauge elongates, and you can kind of manipulate that during blocking. You can make it worse or less pronounced depending on how you lay your thing to block. And my plan was to elongate the hell out of the thing when blocking it, so pulling on it lengthwise like this so that the stitch gauge would shrink a lot and so that the bust here, the full bust, wouldn't be too wide. And it didn't work out at all, because when I put this thing in water, I don't know if you really will see what I mean, but when you block plant fibers, some plant fibers, when you put the thing in the water, it kind of becomes super dense and it feels like cardboard. But when it wasn't blocked, it felt like normal fabric. But just when it soaks up the water and becomes waterlogged, I guess, it becomes very stiff and hard, and then you cannot manipulate the fabric at all because it looks like cardboard. And this is exactly what happened with this one. So I tried to take a video when I let it flat to dry, and really the fabric was not bulging at all. I couldn't do anything, I couldn't stretch it in any direction. It was just completely stiff, like a piece of paper. I couldn't do anything with it. Which means that my plan to elongate the hell out of the thing didn't work at all because I couldn't do anything with it. So it just blocked as it's wanted to block. And it means that now it's way too wide because I couldn't elongate it as I wanted. So yeah, that's annoying, but I should have swatched, so it's on me. It's completely on me. And also I had never used this fiber before, viscose and silk, and it was handspun. Yeah, everything told me I should have swatched, but I didn't want it to because the fiber was very, very precious. It was super expensive and it was handspun. I just didn't want it to cut it and sacrifice a little bit of it to do a swatch, and then I didn't really know how it would behave if I re-knit it, because I feel that sometimes when you knit something, block it, it becomes very fuzzy, and especially since this is a single ply, I was afraid it would just disappear into thin air if I manipulated it too much, like knit the swatch, block the swatch, unravel the swatch, reblock the yarn and then reknit with it. There was a chance it would be destroyed, and I wasn't sure I would have enough yarn to make the whole garment, so that's why I didn't do a swatch. And that's why I ended up with something way too big. Because this is meant to be fitted at the bust, like fitted is a maximum, you should have negative ease. And that way, if I pull the excess fabric on the back, if I lean forward, I don't flash anyone because it's fitted. But since I have too much fabric, I'm not gonna do it, but if I lean forward, you're gonna see everything. So that didn't work at all. And also the straps stretched out way too much and now they are really too long. I cannot show you on the front because that's gonna be not safe for work, but yeah, this is way too low on the back. I would like it to be here. And it's too low because I pulled it very high on the front so that I'm not flashing you. That's kind of an epic fail. However, I am struggling. This piece of fabric is so big that I have no idea where the sleeves are. Anyway, I'm not mad about all of this because it's still super lovely. I mean, it looks great. And I don't really like this color on me. I think it really drains me out. I mean, also it's the end of spring, so I don't have any summer colors yet, so I really look like a dead corpse, I think, in this kind of pastel green. It's beautiful, it's lovely, but not on me. And I don't really feel comfortable in this, like going out and about in this color. But the fabric is absolutely lovely and I feel super comfortable in it. So I think it's just gonna be for at home, lounging at home during the summer. Because it feels very summery and breezy and lightweight, and it's perfect when I'm just hanging at my place and I don't really care if I'm flashing someone or not. So yeah, I think it's just what's gonna happen. That's gonna be for homeware piece. Stylish and very expensive homeware. So in the end, it's a fail, but it's also a win. And you probably saw on the back there is this crossing happening. It's because of the crossing straps, and since the fabric has zero integrity at all, I mean it's like flowing like this one, there is absolutely no reason for the fabric to stay like this, so it's just flopping like that, which is normal because it's very drapey. But again, it's for at home, so I don't care. And also it's kind of cute. I like it. So it wouldn't be a problem even if it was to wear outside. I think that's all for this one. I did... That's another tragedy. I did end up having leftovers. Which is super annoying because I told you I didn't swatch because I wanted to keep the precious yarn for the actual thing because I thought I wouldn't have enough. But I did, so I have some leftovers. I have like 20 grams, 10 grams, something. Which is enough to make myself a hair bow. Like I have a whole collection of them, like the Augustine's number 22. However, again, this yarn is super difficult to, like, I have no idea about the length I have because it's handspun, and on the tag it said, yes, 100 gram was about 220 meters, but I had 150 grams, even though I bought 200 grams, but it's handspun, so maybe I had the yardage, the meterage, so 2 times 220 meters, despite not having 200 grams. So yeah, I have no idea. I could count using, I could make myself a niddy-noddy thing and count how many meters I have, but I can't be bothered. But that means that to make Augustine number 22, it's a long ribbon, but it's knit in the round. So you cast on a ton of stitches, and then you knit very few rows, doing shaping to do the pointy things, and then you do a 3 needle bind off at the top, and then you sew together the cast on edge, and you end up with a double thickness ribbon thing, and then you fold it to do the bow. But that means you need to know how many stitches to cast on so that you have something that's the correct length, and you also need to know how many rows you will be able to work depending on how many stitches you cast on. Impossible. With this guy, impossible. So I decided to do things a little bit differently. So I cast on at the tip here, and then I did increases on one side. And now you cannot see, but I started knitting just in the round without shaping. And I'm just gonna knit until I have weighed how many yarn I used to do the shaping, and I will knit until I have this much yarn left and do decreasing. And I will see how long the ribbon is. If it ends up too long, I can just stop early and I will again have some leftovers, but I will survive. We should be good. So yeah, this is a work in progress that I slipped into the finished object section, but I don't think you're gonna mind. And it's kind of an emergency project because it doesn't require any thinking. It's easy to transport, so it's kind of hanging out until I need something easy to work on at some point. And I'm using the same needle as for this, so 3.75 millimeters. And there is one thing I wanted to mention. It was a complete coincidence. I didn't know it was gonna happen, but when I wound the two skeins I had of handspun, I could see one of them was darker than the other, and I kind of had the feeling that there was a gradient going on, that it started at a very light and like apple green kind of color, and it ended at this very dark green color here, which is not the same as this one. Can you even see? This is way grayer. And I have the fade happening in the camisole, which is nice. So it starts very light and then you kind of go darker, which I think looks absolutely lovely. I'm so happy. Okay, now let's talk about something else. I have, oh, it's here, my next finished object, which is a hat. Absolutely not the same season as this one, but hey. And I haven't closed the top of the hat, so I still have the tail here. I just hope it's not gonna open up too much. But yeah, this is a triple brim hat that I knit top down using Woolberry Fiber Company's Halmoni DK base in the colorway Frost. Gorgeous color. Oh, it smells so nice. And it has a very thick and chunky brim. And I had to cheat a little bit because one skein wasn't enough to get such a big brim, so I had to use some leftovers, DK non-superwash yarns leftovers I had hanging around. So this is a beige. I had like 8 grams left. This one I had 3 grams left. And this is whole super soft held double. It's not the same as this one. I had a lot of it left and I just used it to complete until I had the length I wanted, so that when I fold it, it has a huge brim, which is really what I wanted, because otherwise it would have been like this and this was too short. I wanted it longer. So the way I knit this, I did a pinhole cast on at the top, and as you can see there is an opening here, and I knit the crown flat with the increases, just like you would for a muscle bro, except I knit it flat. And then when I had increased enough, I just knit flat without increases. I think I did that for 4 rows, and then I joined in the round, and then I just knit in the round for ages. When I reached about this length, I did 1 short row and I started knitting from the inside out, so the reverse stockinette is inside. And then I knit for ages until I finished my skein, and then I added this much, and then I sewed down the live stitches. I didn't do any bind off because I didn't want something tight around my forehead. I just sewed down the live stitches to somewhere around here. And when I flip it, it flips, it folds on the seam here. It just stays like that. I didn't even block it like that. I blocked it unfolded like this, but it just stays there. It folds by itself here. And now I have this very cute triple brim hat with the opening here, because that way, when I put it on, I can pull out my hair. Oh my god, it's so cute! I'm so happy. It's just perfect. I love that it has a very big brim. Maybe I went a little bit overboard. I don't care. It's what I wanted. It kind of looks like a sailor hat. Like this. So yes, I wanted it to be very long so that it would really cover the bottom of my ears, because I hate when my hats do this, because this gets cold and I hate it. So I wanted it to be very long. I could probably do this. It's not the point, but at least it really stays and covers my ears correctly. And I also wanted to have a little bit of room up here because I don't really like when it looks like this. So it's also why I made it extra long, so that I would be sure to have this at the top. And I think the slit for the hair is not too visible. I mean, I have no idea, but yeah, I think it looks fine. I am so happy, and it's so soft. We're gonna do the same test I did the last time I knit a hat. I'm gonna keep this on my head for a while and see if it becomes itchy at the end of the episode. I look pretty dumb, I think. This doesn't make any sense, but I think at least the colors match together, so that's at least there's that. So yeah, let's see in a few, like 10 minutes, how I feel about it. But yeah, I'm so happy. This yarn is super soft. Funny thing, I put the hat on my boyfriend's head yesterday, and as soon as I put it on, he looked at me and he was like, oh, it's so soft. It's the softest hat I've ever put on my head. And I was like, yeah, I know. So yeah, I knew he was kind of jealous, but his hat is coming, his boyfriend. His birthday is coming soon, and I'm gonna make him a hat similar to mine. Not with such a big brim, because he looks very dumb in this one, but I'll do it like probably this big, and it's gonna be awesome. I'm still hesitant to make Manhattan hat, the ribbed one with the crown shaping that looks very cute. We'll see. Still undecided, because he really loves this one, so maybe I'll change plans. I don't know, we shall see. There is one funny thing that happened when I was doing the crown shaping. I was measuring my gauge as I went, so that I could calculate how many stitches I needed on the whole head. And I thought I needed, I think, 120 stitches. Because what happened once, because this is a kind of a thick yarn, it's a DK, and when you fold the brim more than 2 times, like 3 times or even 4 times for the muscle brow, the outside layer needs a lot more room than the inside layer. So if you calculate how many stitches you need to cover your head, the outside layer is actually going to be too small, because you need a lot more circumference on the outside. So it's kind of difficult, and it's something that's really missing in the pattern, because if you're using DK or more, I mean the pattern stops at DK, so it kind of makes sense that it's not in pattern, but yeah, if you're using a bigger yarn, it's fine if you don't fold it, but as soon as you fold it, it's too tight, because the outside layers are like squished against you. So yeah, I calculated that I would want like almost 0 ease, 0 negative ease, 2 centimeters of negative ease at my head, which means that when it was folded up, it would get like 3 or 5 centimeters of negative ease. I could only guess, because I couldn't measure how big it was supposed to be once I had the 2 layers already. So yeah, I thought I needed 120 stitches. So I counted my stitches and I did my calculations and all of that, and then I started knitting in the round without increases, and when I finished, I just to be sure, I counted how many stitches I have. I forgot 1 increase round, so I only had 104 stitches instead of 120, because I missed the last increase round. But it's fine, because the size is perfect. So I'm so glad I miscounted, because otherwise it would have been too big and I would have to start over. So I'm very happy about that. So yeah, it's 104 stitches around on 3.5 millimeters. And I used the whole 100 gram skein. It was 103 grams, 3 grams. And the total, I think, is 112. 12! And I will make a Ravelry project for this one. I don't really use Ravelry, I just use it for my designs. Sorry. And I will add detailed notes on how I did the crown with the opening, and also how I did the rest of the hat. And yeah, it will be detailed notes, but I'm not gonna do a whole pattern for that. Because yeah, I discussed with the person that asked to have a pattern, and they are fine with having just a Ravelry project. So I'm gonna do that. But not right now, because right now summer is coming and I'm not really motivated. But yeah, in the following weeks it will come. There is one last thing I wanted to mention. I really have to keep putting this up, because Yeah, it's sliding down. So this is the colorway Frost. This is also the colorway Frost. This is the first time I bought the Rambouillet base, but this one is worsted weight. This is DK. I loved it so much. It was so soft and so incredibly squishy and lovely that I wanted to try the new DK base. And I thought I would buy the same color as this one so that I would have a accessories set. You know the whole story if you followed, but I'm not gonna go on that again. So this is the Halmoni Cowl. It's also a pattern of mine, and it's a cabled cowl. It's not very big, which was the point because I wanted it to be pretty close to me so that I could close up my jacket until the top without it being too like bulky around here. It's absolutely perfect. I wore it during the whole winter. It was just my go-to. Every time I went out, I just grabbed it with me. And I do this thing because my down jacket has a big hood. When I'm not wearing this guy, I was just putting it inside the hood and it was just hanging out on the back of my head like this. It's super handy. Anyway, those are supposed to be the same colorways, but when I was knitting this one, I noticed it was a lot more, the color was more intense, slightly darker. And I wasn't sure if it was because this one has been washed and blocked a few times and worn quite a lot, and this one was just fresh out of the skin. So let's compare them. Oh, it's gonna be difficult. This is reverse stockinette. I'm just gonna show you the other side. Maybe it's gonna be easier to see. I cannot really see in the viewfinder, but I will see when I edit the video if there is still a color difference. Is this one still more brighter and more intense than this one? Or did they get to the same color? I don't know, we will see. But anyway, it wasn't really bothering me, it was just something I noticed. So let me show you the full look. Oh no, it's a bit too tight now. This is so professional. Okay, I think it folded, yeah, there. Stay here. Okay, now this, I like to fold it like that, so that I have a kind of a double layer here. And then, looks like this. I love it so much. It's so soft. I'm kind of sad winter is over. I finally completed the look, but it's a little bit late now. But I'm so glad I went with this option so that I could use the whole skin. And I even used some other leftovers. It's like epic win. So yes, this is it. Alright, let me take this off. Oh no. I'm way too hot, but I will keep on, because that's the best test. It's when you're hot that you will know if something is itchy or not. It wasn't itchy up until now, so that's good, but let's keep it for a little bit longer. It's also super easy to pull out my hair out of it, so that's also nice. Okay, that's it for this one. Now, let's get to the next finished object. 30 minutes in. I'm sorry. The next one is the same pattern as this one. It was a complete impulse cast on because I received some yarn from one of you. Hello Monica, thank you again. And I got so inspired by the yarn. I didn't know this one was coming. She added it into the package, so this was a surprise. And I was so inspired that I cast on and finished something in 5 days. So this is the same pattern as this one, except this one is negative ease. It's very fitted, it's a bralette, basically, but it's the same pattern. I love it so much! So the yarn is Bamboo Pop Sock by Universal Yarns, and I held it double. So it's a DK weight thread yarn. However, I knit it on 2.75mm needles, which is almost sock needles. So the gauge is very firm and dense, which makes it a very thick fabric, which is nice because I'm wearing this to go climbing and you want some kind of support or dense fabric for a bralette or sportswear in general. And this is perfect. and I I wore it last week when I went climbing, and so many people told me, hey, did you need this one? Wow, it's awesome. And a few friends asked if I could make one for them. Probably not, but I'm so proud, it looks amazing. I'm not gonna put it on, but I can show you pictures of it when I'm wearing it. And I also took some footage of me training with it. I'm gonna show that at the end when I talk about climbing, but yeah. It's awesome, it's perfect. It fits great. I don't need a ton of support anyway, so I don't really care about that, but if I needed support, it would support me. And yeah, it's absolutely perfect. I'm so happy about it. So thank you again, Monica. I would never have done this if you hadn't put this random ball of yarn in my package. So thank you so much. This is awesome. And she gifted the yarn, by the way. I didn't pay for this one. Thank you. The only modification I did, since I'm hitting the fingering weight gauge, so this is 28 stitches by 10 centimeters, yes, on very small needles but with a DK yarn, I could just use the fingering weight pattern, but I sized down because I wanted negative ease, so this is size 1. This one is not really a size, it's completely off the chart. And I did, instead of doing the A-line shaping with the increases here, I did the same weight but decreases, which gives me this shape, which is hugging my figure perfectly and is absolutely perfect for a bralette, again. So it's a very easy modification. Just replace the decreases with, no, the increases with decreases and you're good to go. So everything is in the pattern if you want to do this. Again, I didn't swatch for this one, I just knit the cups and then I measured my gauge and then I started over because it was too big. And it's still a bit too big because I thought when I was using such a tiny needle and the gauge was so dense, I thought the fabric wouldn't bulge at all with blocking. Lo and behold, it did. Of course it did, it's bamboo, what was I thinking? So it did stretch out a little bit, so now it's a tiny bit big, and also when I wear it, despite having some elastane content, it does stretch out a bit, but nothing major, I can still wear it. It's not like bagging, and I'm never flashing anyone because there is enough negative ease to begin with. But I could have done a little bit smaller. In this case, since I was already doing size 1, I could either go into the smaller sizes of the DK version. That would involve some math. But everything is in the pattern if you want to do this. Or, since I'm doing the no cups on the back version, I could just cast on less stitches on the back. So it's, again, very easy fix. If you are kind of in between sizes, you can always just cast on less. And be good. Okay, that's my last finished object. Now, it's a little bit itchy, I have to admit. It's less itchy than the precedent hat I made, which had a little bit of nylon and was merino. And I can feel it, but also I'm very hot. I'm on the verge of sweating, so I guess it's not too bad either, but yeah, I'm starting to feel it a little bit. Alright, the first work in progress, no, the last, because I already showed you the other one. The only other work in progress I'm gonna show is also this guy. This one is the DK weight version. So I'm doing exactly the same version with the double crossing straps thing, but I'm holding my yarn double. So this is linen silk by Quick Strick, and it's supposed to be a fingering weight, but I'm holding it doubled to make it DK, because I've made like a ton of these, but none of them are in DK weight gauge, and I just wanted to try it out. It feels a little bit weird to be holding a yarn double to hit the DK gauge, because I don't really like DK weight garments, especially for summer. So it feels kind of, why am I doing this? But it's a good thing, because the fabric is a bit more opaque and dense, and it's just hiding a little bit better what's happening here. This is a little bit, I mean, aside from the fact that it's flashing everyone, but yeah, the fabric is kind of revealing, I would say, and this one is definitely more safe for work. Yeah, kind of. So it's a good thing that I'm forcing myself to do a DK weight garment, because the fabric is still very lightweight and breathable, and I'm not gonna overheat in this, and it's gonna cover me more, so it's a good thing. I need to remember that. But also I feel like I would have just preferred to have it in figurine weight, but it's fine. So I used two colors. As you can see, I already finished the skin of the beige. I wasn't sure if I would use more than the skin. Well, I did some math and I'm gonna use every single gram I have. Because for once I did gauge swatch, so I used this one held double and I need quite a big swatch like this. I blocked it, I measured it, and the gauge was a little bit too small. I wanted to hit 20 stitches as I said, and it was more like 24 stitches, 23, no 22, 23 stitches, so it was a little bit too small. But what I could do is measure the surface of the swatch, and I know the surface of the finished cami because I did the yarn estimate for the pattern, and I knew how much yarn I used for the swatch, so I could calculate how much yarn I was going to use for the whole surface of the thing. Would be a little bit less because I was gonna go down some needle sizes. And I had 198 grams of the two skins, so 99 of each color. And my calculations told me I would use 197 grams. So I knew from the beginning that I was gonna use everything. So I had to be creative about the color placement. I didn't want it to have stripes. And I didn't want it to do color blocking, like top part in one color and bottom part in another color. And I didn't want it to do intarsia or stuff like that, and no color work because that would use more yarn. So I had to do an in-between between color blocking and stripes, so I did one stripe. So the top is beige, and then I have one green stripe, and then I used the left, what I had left of the beige to do one stripe. And I'm doing the rest using the green. So I have one stripe of green, or two stripes technically, and then color block. Why not? And the sad thing is, so I did that like 3 days ago, and yesterday I was watching pattern roundup video by Emily Knits, and she had so many beautiful patterns in there that I didn't know about, and she showed something from Adorable Knits, I think, and she has this beautiful t-shirt that has color block and stripes going on, and it was so perfect, but it was too late. I had already done this big stripe in the middle. So yeah, I'm showing you this in case you have the same scenario as me. You have two different color skins and you would like to pair them together, but this is looking ugly. You can do this, it's beautiful. Maybe next time. This one should fit correctly. I tried it on. It's not blocked, but I am planning, before even blocking, I'm gonna put an elastic from one underarm here all the way on the back to the other underarm here. I'm gonna put an elastic on the back so that it stays close to my body, it doesn't stretch out with wear. And I'm probably gonna add elastics in the straps as well. I'm not sure about that one, but I think the elastic in the back is really gonna help a lot. Also to avoid the fold on the back like this. We'll see. I hope it's gonna help. It's looking like a bag, like a market bag for now. Alright, now that's all. Yes. Did I forget something? Oh, I forgot to tell you something. So, you have two straps options. As I mentioned, you can do the cups on the front and the back and have single straps between them, or you can have the cups only on the front and then a straight back like this one, and then have double crossing straps. Now, when you do the double crossing straps, my initial idea that I used for this one and the bralette and all my other samples, you're doing them in one go. So you start at the back here, and you do a lot of loops like that, and you do some straps, and then you do apply dye cords, and then another straps, and then apply dye cords, and then blah, 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 until you get back to the beginning. All in one go. You don't have to cut your yarn in once. I'm so happy. I hate cutting my yarn. But it means that if you get the length of the straps wrong, you have to undo everything. Which I don't mind. For me it's fine. I did it I think twice for this one and twice also for the bralette. It's okay for me. But I can understand that it can be a little bit tedious for others, so I wanted to add another option, which would be to do the whole apply dye cord on the whole back, so from one underarm to the other, You don't do applied I-cords for the cups because there is already an I-cord in the, when you knit the cups. So you don't need to add another one here. But adding one is not bothering. There is an applied I-cord on top of the I-cord here, and it just looks like an I-cord. So yeah, you're just doing the applied I-cord for the back, and then you pick up from the top of the cup and you knit one strap, you attach it on the back, you cut the yarn, and then you repeat that 3 times. Which means you cut your yarn 4 times instead of 0. And it just depends on what you prefer. I hate cutting my yarn, as I mentioned, so I don't like to do that. But I understand some people would prefer cutting the yarn than having to rip back the whole thing 3 times to get the length of the straps right. However, for this version I did that to test out the idea and see how it would look like. So for this one I did the whole I-cord for the back, and then I picked up on each front and knit the straps separately and attached them on the back. And I think it looks fine. You can see that they are attached on the I-cord, and this one is the one that's continuous. It's just different. Now I have another kind of whip, but it's not a whip, I just have the swatch, so I can show you that. So this is my next design. It's something that I made like so long ago. I think it was in 2022, I don't even remember, it was years ago. And there's a color scheme going on today. This is a yarn that's very similar to the one I use in the bralette, because it's also a wool-free sock yarn. So this is a wool-free sock yarn, by the way. And it's great for me because wool is itchy. This is itchy. It's not itching. I can survive. It's not bothering. It's not like I want to rip off my forehead. It's okay for now. Yes, wool for summer garments is difficult for me because it's either itchy and or too warm. Like knitting for olive cotton merino is itchy for me when it's negative ease, and I like negative ease in my garments. So yeah, it's a little bit difficult. And also wool on my feet makes my feet sweaty and cold. It's super weird. And yeah, I wanted to try wool-free sock yarns. And then I realized that I could also use the wool-free sock yarn to make garments and solve the other issue of itchy yarns that are too warm for me. So this is a wool-free sock yarn that I bought at the Swiss Yarn Festival a few weeks ago. And it's from a Swiss maker, so Holda Wolle. She's in Schaffhausen, which is the very other corner of Switzerland compared to me. And this one is tencel, elastan and cotton. It's very springy and boingy, even though it doesn't have any wool. So I wanted to try to do this negative ease top. Where is the swatch? It was on my desk. Wait, I forgot something. This is the original thing I was talking about that I knit years ago, and it's very close fitting. It's a negative ease garment, but this is 100% wool and it's itchy. And also I had only one skein, so it's very short. It's very small. It's too small for me. When I made it, I could put it on pretty easily and it was fine to wear, but now it's not. It's way too tight. I have some pictures when I'm wearing it and you can see it's completely overstretched and it's squishing my ladies. They are not big, but they are squished up by this thing. So this is way too small and itchy and too warm, so nothing is okay with this, and I don't like the color on me. So yeah, I wanted to knit another one, bigger and with a yarn that would be summer appropriate for me and my climate and my sensibilities, and without wool. So I did a little swatch. This is only steam blocked, and yes, so you can see the diamond thing. It's made using slip stitches and cables, and then I just tried something for the decreases. I decreased way too much, but in this one that again I made a long time ago, I did this kind of weird thing at the underarm. I tried to do something that would look nice, yes, look nice, but it didn't. Yeah, again, it was a very long time ago, so I didn't have a lot of knowledge on how to solve this kind of issue. So yeah, I just wanted to do something a little bit better for this detail. It's here, at the underarms. It's more like bust shaping than waist shaping. Basically, I did all the decreases here instead of doing them slowly along the body. So yeah, I think this looks better. Yeah, so it's just a cute swatch, and you can see the color. It's a beautiful hand-dyed yarn, as I mentioned, and you can see there is some purple moments. It goes slightly more green, and it's beautiful. And again, it's totally the same color as this one. I'm obsessed! What can I say? So yeah, this is coming. I'm gonna cast on probably tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I'm really excited, and this is very, very stretchy. And this one, as I mentioned, is not itchy at all. This is bamboo, this is tencel, so this is not going to be itchy either. And bamboo and tencel are the same, right? Or is viscose? I don't remember, whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong, correct me please. I also had fun with the cables because I have no idea how I need those. I mean, I can tell there are cables, so I guess I did that. But for this one, I wanted to try mock cables. I know they look kind of different, but I wanted to see if there was a way to do mock cables that look exactly the same as cables, and there is. So you can do one-on-one cables without actually crossing the stitches, but it's just like you knit into the second stitch, and then you knit into the first stitch, and then you drop them both. That's for a right leaning, and for a left leaning, you do the same but from the back. Yeah. There are a ton of ways to do one-on-one cables without using a cable needle or crossing the stitches. And you cannot tell, but I used a different method for each repeat, and they all look exactly the same. So I think what I'm gonna do is probably film like a tutorial for the pattern and show every single method. every single method, and you can just select the one you prefer. And it's funny because, as I said, I knit this one years and years ago, and so many of my patterns are one-on-one cables or slip stitches or both, and this is also slip stitch and one-on-one cable. That was a long time coming. I was already doing this kind of stuff years ago without even knowing what was gonna happen, so I just thought it was pretty funny. Battery change, and I am way too hot. It's okay. It's a little bit itchy, but yeah, same as before. It's okay. It's bearable. I can survive. So I guess it's a win. Okay, that's all for the knitting. I can show you some acquisitions, which are very cute, but again, I didn't buy them, I received them. My mom went to Korea. She's Korean, I'm half Korean. She went to Korea last month, and she went to Daiso. If you know what it is, you know. It's like a dollar store type of thing, where you can buy a ton of cheap stuff, and you can find everything, absolutely everything. And going into that store is a trap, because everything is so cute and cheap, and you just have to buy something even though you don't need it, but you kind of convince yourself that you need it. Yeah, it's one of those. And my mom went into it and she wanted to buy stuff, but she didn't need it anymore, so she convinced herself I needed stuff to buy things for me. It's so cute. Thank you, Mom. So she got me some crochet hooks. They are, I think it's plastic? No, it's metal. No, it's plastic. I have no idea. I have 4, 5, 6, 8 and 10 millimeters, and they are very long. They are 15 centimeters long, which is longer than what I have, so it's great. And now I have spare hooks. I don't think I had the big ones, so it's great, and they are cute. So thank you, Mom. And she also got me some yarns. It's so cute. Ah, look at that! It's like spongy and it has some like bulbous texture. I don't know, it's really cute. I think it's polyamide or plastic, because it does the thing I mentioned already, and some of you also have, so I'm not alone in that, but it does the velcro thing on my hand because my skin is destroyed, and the the plastic kind of sticks to it. I don't know if you will be able to hear, but yeah, it's velcroing onto me. So this is not gonna be for something I wear on myself or even touch with my hands on a daily basis. I'm thinking maybe it would be super cute for a rug in the bathroom, right? I could crochet something. I don't know, if you have an idea of like a crochet rug. I don't really know what this is because of course the tag is in Korean and I cannot read Korean. Even if I could, I don't really understand Korean either, but let me use Google Lens. It's sticking to my hands. Fil à tricoter en microfibre. It's microfiber knitting yarn. Hanger. I cannot translate. Hair stuff, and souver is coasters. 40 grams, 15. It says points, but I guess it's stitches. Yes, 15 stitches, 7 rows. What? 10 centimeters. What? I don't know. 5-6 millimeter needles. YouTube. Oh, there is a YouTube channel. Maybe I can check if I can find some ideas. Yeah, it's microfiber, so maybe I should do dishcloth, but I don't want to manipulate the dishcloth. That feels like this. Maybe I should just try. I destroyed the yarn. Yeah, it's already kind of coming apart just from touching my finger, so I'm not sure I want to use something this fragile for a dishcloth. Or maybe I do. Once it's knitted, maybe it feels better. I have no idea. Have you already used something like this? What should I do with it? Maybe I should just do coasters. The Jasmine Stitch coasters thing, but this color absolutely doesn't go in my apartment. Maybe towels? I don't know. If you have an idea. They're super cute. Okay, that's my acquisitions. And that's it for the knitting content. Yes, I haven't forgotten anything. Now, let's get into the interesting part. Which is the climbing. So if you're not interested in the best part, of course feel free to leave there. Thank you for being here, I love you. And if you are interested, I will try to give some context. Some of you already know how this works, but most of you don't. So I will try to explain. There are different types of climbing competitions, and this is a friendly comp. So it's not an official, like a national thing or anything, it's just friendly comp in my local bouldering gym. And it happens twice a year, but in different formats. So this kind of format, there was qualifying that were lasting for a whole month. So 2 times a week the route setters were putting new holds on the wall, and each boulder gives you points. And there were about 20 to 25 new boulders per week, twice a week, so 12 2 times a week. And we had to climb the more we could to get the more points. The points is pretty easy. Each boulder is a total of 1000 points, and then the points are divided between each people that tops the boulder. So for example, a super easy boulder would be climbed by everyone, so maybe, I don't know, 100 people, so that's 10 points. But if a boulder is climbed by 2 people, that makes you 500 points, and that's a ton. So that's how it works. Now, that lasted for a whole month, and for I think a total of 3 weeks, and on the 4th week, on Thursday, which was the last day, they opened a last set of boulders just before the finals, and we had like 2 hours to do them between the moment where they opened and the moment where the qualifications were closed. And yeah, that was on the last day, but I'm gonna come back on that later. Now, when the competition, the qualifying started, it was beginning of March, and I did the first few boulders during the first week, and then I left on holiday. So I wasn't there to do the qualifications, and we thought we would come back right on the day the finals were happening, which means I had no chance to qualify because there was no chance I could do in 2 hours what the others had done in 3 weeks. So I had kind of forgotten about the idea to be in the finals at all. But then the holidays got cut short and I had some opportunities to go to the gym, but I had only 2 climbing days because you need to rest between the climbing days, otherwise you're too tired and you cannot do anything. So I had 2 days left before the finals to do all the boulders the other had done during 2 weeks, basically. That was hardcore. I really climbed a lot. I climbed super hard. I tried my best to get the more points I could to like catch up on the others, and I barely did, so only the 6 best women and 6 best men could make it into the finals, and I was 6th place. I was pretty far away from the 7th, but still, I wasn't really sure I could make it, especially because right before the finals, as I mentioned, there would be the last set of boulders, and it kind of all depends if the 7th woman was making a super good score that day and I was tired, I could get passed over by her. So yeah, I was super stressed out on the day of the finals, and fortunately we know each other in the gym, and I know all the other women that were qualified, and they all helped me out and they told me, oh, this one is super easy, you need to do this one, oh, I can help you on this one, that's how you're supposed to do it, so that I could flash stuff and get extra points. Flashing is when you do something first try, by the way, and it gives you extra points. Not a lot, but it helps. So yeah, they were super cute, and they even once said, oh, but I can remove this boulder from my list so that you get more points, because we were only 2 that have done it. She didn't do it, so we didn't cheat. I want to make this clear, I didn't cheat it. It was a good day. I was climbing pretty okay, not my best form, but I was feeling well, and I did score enough points to get qualified and be sure that the 7th couldn't take my place. So when I knew I was out of danger, I chilled out, and then I started eating a little bit, not too much, and just I chilled out for a whole hour. And then the final started, so I was barely qualified at 6th place, which I was already super proud about. And even if I got 6th place in the finals, I would be happy, because my objective was to basically do it, make it into the finals, and just climb with my friends in the finals. That's a super fun experience to have, and I just wanted that. I would be happy if I could score 5th, because 6th is like last place, that's not the nicest. And the way the finals work, there are 6 men and 6 women, and there are 2 boulders per men and women, so 4 boulders total, but the women climb 2 and the men climb 2 boulders. Each boulder has a top, so you start at the very bottom, and then the point of the whole game is to reach the top. But when it's a competition, you need to be able to give different points to different people. If it's just like top, not top, you cannot really differentiate between people. So they also add what's called zones. So there are 2 zones per each boulder, and the first zone gives you a few points, and the second zone gives you more points, and the top gives you even more points. And they also count how many tries you do. So for example, if you reach the first zone first try, it gives you more points than if you reach the first zone on the 3rd or 4th try. The best is to flash the top, of course. That's the most points you can get, and that's like a top score. Flashing zone 2 or zone 1 is also good, but it's best to reach the top after a few tries than flash zones, in regards of how many points you get. Now, before starting the competition, they give you 2 minutes to look at each boulder and see, like, try to read the boulders. That's how you call it, when you cannot touch the wall. I mean, you can touch the holes but not hang on them, and you try in your head to read, okay, I'm going to take this hold like this, and then I'm going to move like that, move my feet down there, and all of that. So you try to do the boulders in your head before, and that's a whole set of skills, because being able to know what you're going to do on the wall without being on the wall is very difficult. And I'm kind of good at it, fortunately. So we are all together with the women and the men, but the men look at their own boulders and we look at ours. And I was chatting with the other women, and I was like, okay, I think you need to do this, and then you put your hand like that, and then you grab this one. And the other was like, oh no, I think you need to do that and this, and I was like, what? Doesn't make sense at all. But I cannot be sure because I'm not on the wall, so I don't know, maybe they are right. But yeah, I was pretty sure my own beta was the correct one, so I decided to stick with it. And I was the first one to go, because the 6th one qualified goes first, and then the 5th, until the 1st. So I was the first one to go on both boulders, so I had no information. I didn't know if it was easy or hard, because sometimes when you're the last one, so the first one qualified and the last one to go, you can know if a boulder is easy or hard because you have 4 minutes per person per boulder. So if everyone flashes the boulder before you, you know it's going to be pretty easy. But if everyone uses the whole 4 minutes and nobody tops it, you know it's going to be super hard. But I was the first one to go, so I had no information at all. Which was good actually, I prefer that. So I went on the fourth boulder and I messed up the first try, so there is a pretty involved move where you have to launch your feet on a hole that's pretty... It's called the dual texture. Basically there is no texture, it's just super slippery. It's just plastic. And I missed the hold, I didn't go far enough, so that was my first try, gone. I couldn't flash anything now. And then on the second try, I stick the move. As you can see, it's pretty difficult. The shoulders are pretty engaged, so I'm pretty happy I did that one. My shoulders are not the strongest, so yeah, that was good. And then the next part is totally my jam. It's very technical, it's all about body positioning and finding the right balance on your feet. That's exactly what I'm super good at, so I went through it super easily. And then the next move, that's when it got pretty spicy, because it's a dynamic and I'm not super good at jumping on, especially because you were kind of jumping backwards and I couldn't see the hold because it was hidden by itself, because it's a big like round thing. So I wasn't sure, and yeah, at some point I decided, okay, just go for it, and if it holds, it holds, and if it doesn't, I just start over. And I held the hold. I couldn't believe it. And it was awesome, like the feeling was awesome. I was so proud of myself, but then I was like, okay, now I need to get to the top or nothing, because I only have 4 minutes, and if I fall here, I have to try everything again, and then that's one more try. So it's best that I try to stay on this hole for the longest I can and try everything from there, rather than fall to the ground and start over, because that would cost me some points. And the good thing is I also do a lot of lead climbing, which is a lot more about endurance and the capacity, the ability to get back power when you are holding onto something. And this hold was very good, and since I do a lot of lead climbing, I can shake out and get power back, which boulderers usually cannot do. So that's why I'm staying for 15 minutes on this thing. No, it lasted 2 minutes. And trying different things. And the last thing I'm trying is the heel hook inside the hole, and then trying to grab the last grey thing as an undercling. And I'm super annoyed at myself, because this was the correct beta. This is how you're supposed to do it. I mean, it's one of the ways you can do it. But I just didn't place my heel correctly, and I didn't grab the hold correctly, which is why I'm falling. But a few days later, I did it again, and I did exactly that, except I just put my heel a little bit better, and then I grabbed this one better, and then I topped it. So I could have topped it if only I had taken the time to put my heel correctly. But whatever, it doesn't matter. So in the end, it means that I did the second zone on the second try, which I am the only one to have done. All the other ones either didn't make it into zone 1, so they couldn't do the first move with the strong shoulder thing, or they couldn't make it into zone 2 because they couldn't stick the jump. Or if they did stick the jump, it was on try 3 or 4. So I scored the best on boulder 1. I'm so happy. I'm so proud. Even if there is a jump and it wasn't my style at all, like, wow. And the second boulder, as I mentioned, was a lot more powerful and strength, and I'm not very good at that. But I did a good job and I flashed zone 1. Not everyone did that, so again, super proud of myself for that. But I couldn't go past it. The next move was just too hard, so I tried I think 4 times, and there is a beautiful picture, because when it's a very powerful boulder like that, you can't just try again every time you fall on the ground. You have to rest for a bit, but you only have 4 minutes, so you really have to be very strategical about what you do. And what I did is, I think I did 2 tries, and then I just sat down and I tried to calm myself, breathe, and just gain back the more power I could, so that I could do 1 good try at the end, instead of just trying over and over again and just be super tired and not do anything good. So there is this beautiful picture of me just sitting on the ground, looking super calm. And the reality is everyone was shouting everywhere, and there was the guy trying to jump on the boulder next to me, and it was complete chaos, and I was just like, Yeah, and then I did the last try and I did the same. I reached the zone, which doesn't give extra points. The first time you do it, you get the points and then it's done. But I couldn't go past it. And 2 other women flashed the boulder, so they went from the bottom to the top first try. So they got, of course, a lot more points than me, but I still scored 3rd place. That's how I won. I finally did a podium on my local gym, in my local gym. I think I have done like 6 or 7 finals and I never make it onto the podium for some reason. So yeah, I'm super proud of myself for finally doing it. And the other women were super strong also, but it's just that they misread the boulder. That's it for the climbing story. Now, after the competition, as I mentioned, I climbed super hard and I climbed a lot to just qualify into it. And then during the night, the finals, I climbed super hard also, and I could feel I wasn't feeling very great after that. I had pushed a little bit too hard and I was on the verge of hurting myself, and yeah, I could tell something was... I needed to calm down. So I took a week-long break of climbing. I usually climb 3-4 times a week, and so I took a long break. And when I started again, I think it was last week, I was feeling so great. I could finally feel my hands again, I could pull on the holds, I had some power back, I felt so good. And I decided to start training. I have never done that, I just climb. I climb a lot, so it's enough to get to a certain level, which is my level. But now, as I mentioned, I'm top level for everything that's technical, body positioning and all of that. But what I really lack is power and strength, and especially explosive power. Because I can do a pull-up like that, but I'm super slow. It's like... And in climbing you need to do a lot of like explosive move where you like launch yourself up fast and then you need to grab the next one fast and use the momentum of your whole body, and I'm super bad at that. So I decided to try training that, and my boyfriend does personal training, which is very handy. So he started training me last week. And I have footage, and I'm showing you and talking about that because I was wearing the Olympic camis as a bralette when I was training, and it was perfect. It felt great. So I have funny footage of me. I wanted to film this because it's always interesting to see your progression, and unfortunately it wasn't the first time I tried, it was already my 2nd time trying. So basically I just hang from big holes, and the goal is to climb up without using your feet. So just the strength from your arms and using explosivity, like big moves like that. I mean, you can probably see what I'm talking about. And I already got better because the first time I had no idea what was happening and I couldn't understand how to use my whole body even though I was only hanging from my arms. That's super difficult to understand. And yeah, in what I'm showing you here, you can already see the movements of my legs correlates to the movements of my arms a little bit better. So yeah, I'm already getting better, so that's great. Progression is fast and very satisfying, so yeah. That's my climbing update, and that's me wearing my hand knit while climbing. Okay, this video is super long, again, but I know a lot of you enjoy that, so I hope you enjoyed. I don't know when I will film again, maybe next week. Maybe in 2 weeks, who knows. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already, and if you don't want to miss out any future content I may put out. Don't forget to like all of that, leave me a comment, tell me if the hat looks weird, tell me whatever. And yeah, I hope I will see you again in the next one, and until then,